Story 1, AITA continue to wear makeup and dress in my normal style around a friend who thinks her husband has a crush on me? My 29F friend 31F has told me that her husband 35 meters has a crush on me and has recently told her that he fantasizes over me. This already makes me feel very awkward, but now she has asked if I can stop wearing makeup and wear baggy clothes around him. We went out for dinner last night at a reasonably expensive restaurant with a few others, 7 of us in total, and she texted me when I got home saying she was angry at me for looking hot after she asked me to not wear makeup. She's my friend and I want to do the right thing, but Therese, nothing I could wear that is baggy that would have suited the restaurant we were in, Michelin star. My style is very conservative and I was wearing a very average dress with heels. I've written out several responses ranging from an apology to being quite rude, but wanted to sense check my thoughts here before I go back to her. I don't want to make life difficult for her, but what she's asking for feels unreasonable. AITA? Edit 1. Thank you so much for all of your responses. It's 4:21 a.m. here in the UK, so I will write out and send a response tomorrow and we'll update you all on here. Sorry I can't respond to everyone, I didn't expect so many responses. Edit 2. While I was reading your responses, he just liked an old Instagram pic from way back, bikini pic. He is now blocked. Final update. Edit 3. I responded with the following: sorry it's taken me a while to reply, but I wanted to consider this properly and not react emotively. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think it's fair or reasonable to ask me to change how I look because of your husband. My advice is to speak to husband's name and work on your relationship, because projecting your issues onto me isn't going to help you, but it will damage our friendship. You have nothing to be insecure about. You're the most beautiful person inside and out I've ever met. I'm here for you if you want to talk through it, but ultimately I can't help it if I'm smoking hot. Just kidding. XXX. 5 minutes after I pressed send, she knocked on my door. She was already on her way with a bunch of flowers and cried and gave me a hug while apologizing. She told me they were having problems and it was wrong of her to take it out on me. We've had a long chat and I'm going to be there to support my friend. Thank you all for your input, you all helped so much. Additional info: I've had a lot of people message me asking if they can post my story elsewhere, and a couple of reporters, etc. I really don't want to exploit my friend's marriage, so I don't mind if you use it, but please keep me anonymous. Also, WTF? I can't believe so many people care or have an opinion about my boring issue. X cover character 8179 says, not sure why this is marked NSFW? Anyway, total NTA. For one thing, I don't think it's possible to dress appropriately for a nice restaurant without looking hot to someone who already finds you attractive. And, more generally, as long as you're not hitting on the husband, or intentionally dressing provocatively to catch his attention, which it sounds like you're not, then this is her problem, not a you problem. Here's another point: why on earth did she tell you that her husband has the hots for you? Completely inappropriate. This is something to be handled within the marriage. Dry doing it says, NTA. If she thinks it's okay to ask a friend to wear baggy clothing to dinner out with a group, she should feel more than comfortable telling her husband not to look. In fact, with her absolute audacity, she could tell him to wear a blindfold. It feels unreasonable because it is. Even telling you about this was gross. Asking you to manage it for her, at your own expense, is worse. In fact, how about she leave her man at home, since apparently he can't stop himself from being creepy about her friends. Or she's the one being creepy. Either way, it's not yours to manage. Dazzler 3623 says, her husband is an offer telling her he has the hots for you. She's an offer then telling you, and expecting you to completely change how you look around her husband. You're absolutely NTA for any part of this. Story 2, AITA for picking a restaurant my stepsiblings couldn't eat at. My uncle brought me out to eat on Saturday because he wasn't here for my 16th birthday 3 weeks ago. He had to take my stepsiblings 13F, 11 meters with us. He's not their stepuncle BTW. He's my mom's brother. Stepsiblings are my dad's stepkids. But my uncle and dad used to be best friends, but their friendship ended when my mom died 7 years ago. Things are messy because my uncle still wants to see me and I want to see him, but dad doesn't want my stepsiblings left out, so they get dragged around sometimes. Something kinda relevant is that my stepsiblings have no anaphylactic kind food allergies. Their allergies are different from each other and they get rashes and puking and stuff from eating foods they're allergic to. This has become such a focus for my dad and their mom that I don't get to eat at places I like, even when my stepsiblings aren't there, because it's not fair. I'm also the only person in the family. I think it's more a burden than a family who never gets to have my favorite restaurant on rotation for eating out. My dad, his wife and both my stepsiblings get their one choice, but because mine doesn't easily accommodate my stepsiblings I can't have it. All of my top 5 are out. Even for stuff like my birthday. I hate it. I resent it. I don't have the family affection or mushiness for them to make it easier. I just basically suck it up. But when my uncle was taking me, I chose my top choice. And he took us. My stepsiblings didn't eat. I didn't even feel bad because their needs are always put first and they shouldn't have been tagging along anyway. Their mom was so mad when my uncle dropped me off and dad was disappointed in me. He asked me why I chose it and I told him it's my favorite restaurant and it's been almost 6 years since I got to eat there because they decided I can never have it while I live with them. I told him it was meant to be celebrating my birthday and since I get fucked over when they celebrate me because of my stepsiblings, I didn't see why I had to do it when my uncle was taking me. I told him they shouldn't have been there in the first place. I didn't want them there. He was just fucking with my uncle. His wife heard me say her kids shouldn't have been there and she asked where my compassion is and where my sibling bond went and I told her I never had one. My stepsiblings were really upset they'd been forced to watch two of us eat and that made their mom more angry at me and dad more upset with me especially because I didn't feel bad about it. AITA? AIMT always says, NTA, he's your uncle, not theirs. It was your birthday celebration, not theirs. Steal those little moments for you whenever possible. Comfortable C 2454 says, NTA something kinda relevant is that my stepsiblings have no anaphylactic kind food allergies. Their allergies are different from each other and they get rashes and puking and stuff from eating foods they're allergic to. This has become such a focus for my dad and their mom that I don't get to eat at places I like, even when my stepsiblings aren't there, because it's not fair. I feel for your step-siblings, but to not to get to choose even if step-sibs aren't there is all sorts of messed up. Having Hope 3594 says, NTA this was your one time to pick a place that you liked. Your uncle wanted to honor you for your birthday. That's crazy that you can't even go to your preferred places when your step-siblings are not around. And it's also crazy that your parents forced your uncle to include them. Good for you for finally getting to enjoy a special meal. Story 3, AITA for refusing to cook a vegetarian Thanksgiving dinner. I feel like I've slipped into the twilight zone with this whole argument, so tell me what's up, internet folks. Background: I 31F and my brother Mark 35M do not get along. When he was a teen he saw a documentary on factory farming and decided to become a vegetarian. He got very annoying about it quickly, but my dad shut him down when he started trying to get the rest of us to be vegetarian with him. Then he went to college, made a bunch of very strange friends, and went militantly vegan. It's his entire personality. I stopped talking to him after he threw a fit about one of my birthday dinners being at a steakhouse and spammed my messages and SM with pictures of abused cows. My parents have been trying to repair the situation and for a while, it did seem like Mark was getting better so I've been letting him back into contact gradually. Then he started dating Pam, who is some kind of vegan influencer. She is apparently moderately popular online, but I have no idea what she does exactly. I don't know if Mark was trying to impress her or what, but last Thanksgiving he insisted that Mom cook at least a vegetarian meal or they wouldn't come on ethical grounds. My mom just wanted everyone to get along on her favorite holiday, so she agreed. It was not a fun meal. This year, my parents have downsized for retirement and my mom is having health problems. I bought their house when they moved, so my mom asked me to host Thanksgiving so it would be like usual. I told everyone in the group chat so Mark and Pam could make travel arrangements and Pam immediately started gushing about all the vegan replacement recipes she could give me to replace the traditional ones. I said to send me a main dish recipe they like and I would give it a shot, but am making the traditional meal otherwise and there should still be plenty of things they can eat. Mark and Pam have been arguing about this with me for days and then Mark said that if I wouldn't make a meat-free meal they wouldn't come. This upset my mom, who asked me to just make what she made last year to keep the peace, but I told her that Mark needs to get over himself and am not coddling him. I'm having turkey on Thanksgiving. My dad privately agrees with me, but Mark threatening to not come is upsetting my mom so much that Hess worried it will impact her health. There's a not big, but also not zero chance that these might be some of the last family holidays we have with her. My mom thinks I'm putting turkey over my own family and am not so sure anymore. AITA? Edit whoa, this blew up. So the answers to some common questions as I said, I've already offered to make sure there is a main dish and sides they can eat. Mark and Pam will not show up if anyone else eats meat at this meal. If any meat is served to anyone, they won't come. Doing multiple meals that day or across multiple days is a no-go. I'm a newly minted critical care physician at an understaffed hospital during a major holiday week and I will have a limited window of time between shifts. I have time for one gathering and I would rather not waste it on a miserable one like last year. Mark and Pam can't host because they live in a van at present. Am also not willing to have them in my kitchen for hours bitching about the meat in my fridge, the cookware and utensils, and whatever else they can find to complain about. The time it would take for them to come eat, socialize for a couple of hours, and leave is the maximum amount I'm willing to let them be in my home. Although it would admittedly be interesting to watch them try to host a family Thanksgiving out of a van. It is very unlikely that my mom is going to die anytime soon. It's just a non-zero chance. She's understandably worried about it, and is in the pessimism stage of grieving her health. She has a good prognosis and most people with her condition pull through and live for a long time afterward. If it is by some chance the last Thanksgiving, I don't think a repeat of last year's Thanksgiving would do her any good either, as everyone left that table unsatisfied and unhappy. Edit. So, a possible situation to this that I came up with while talking to my partner is to just work through Thanksgiving instead. The attending on shift that day would probably be happy to stay home, so swapping wouldn't be hard. Mom would be sad about canceling, but she knows my job is demanding and saves lives, so she won't be upset. Mark and Pam can kick rocks. To be honest, eating hospital turkey between emergencies sounds better than a family Thanksgiving right now. I'll have to turn it over some more. Crimson Knight _004 says, NTA, you're not putting turkey over family. Mark is putting tofurkey over family. You've reasonably accommodated enough with a vegan option. Mark doesn't get to hold holidays hostage because of his own dietary choices. That's ridiculous. If Mark wants to pitch a fit, that's him. I feel very sorry for your mom, she's the one suffering most here. But she needs to realize that Mark is the one causing this family divide, and it isn't fair to everyone else to cater to his demands. JD Bugs says, my aunt was vegan, she brought her own meals to family gatherings. Why can't they do the same? NTA Luxon says, NTA, you've even offered to cook them a vegan main dish, which is pretty above and beyond. I think most people would just tell them to bring their own food. Seems like they are taking the position that not only are they vegan, but they are essentially forcing it on everyone else by refusing to come, which is ridiculous. If your mom is getting upset, it's because of Mark's actions, not yours. It's not fair for everyone else to have to comply with his demands. If he actually cares about your mom, he would put her feelings first. Thanks for watching. I love you. Follow Reddit Echoes for more.